Ladies and gentlemen, there is greatness inside your potential that's been waiting to rise. But too often we let doubt, fear, or the illusion of perfect timing keep us from taking the step we know we need to take. We say, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow is not where your breakthrough lies. Your breakthrough is hidden in what you're willing to do today. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Don't wait until you feel ready. If it's in your heart, if it keeps coming back to your spirit, that dream, that vision, that idea, it's because you're meant to act on it now. Every moment you delay is a moment you could be rising higher. Every time you say later, you're pushing your blessing further down the road. But when you step out in faith, when you move before everything makes sense, that's when heaven moves with you. You're not waiting on the perfect time. The time is waiting on you to be bold. Stop putting off the book, the business, the phone call, the prayer, the change. Start small, start scared, start unsure, but just start. Miracles don't follow comfort, they follow movement. Let today be the day you say, no more delay, no more excuses, no more waiting for tomorrow. I will do it today. Because when you move, mountains move. When you act, chains break. When you believe enough to begin, you activate the favor that's been waiting for you all along. You are graced for today. You are strong enough for today. You are chosen for today. Don't waste another second. Everything you've been praying for could be one brave decision away. The time is now. Do it today. There is something special about your life. You were created with purpose and designed with intention and placed on this earth to fulfill something only you can do. But far too often, people miss their moment. Not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they've allowed procrastination to take root in their lives. They keep putting things off. I'll do it next week. I'll get to it when things calm down. Now it's not the right time. But here's the truth. When you delay, you risk derailing. When you keep putting off what's been placed in your heart, you slowly start moving away from the very path you were meant to walk. You're not just stalling a task, you're postponing purpose. You're not just rescheduling a dream, you're pushing back divine appointments. The longer you wait, the more you distance yourself from the doors God has already opened. Every time you procrastinate, you're making a silent statement. You're saying, I don't fully trust that now is the time. I don't fully believe I'm ready. I'm not sure I have what it takes. But the truth is, you're more ready than you think. What you need for the journey ahead has already been placed within you. The courage, the wisdom, the strength that may not look complete yet, but the seed is there. And that seed doesn't grow while you sit still. It grows when you move, when you plant, when you water it with action. Some people keep waiting for the perfect time. They want every question answered, every obstacle cleared, every fear erased. But perfection is a myth. Waiting for everything to feel easy and risk-free is a trap. There will never be a moment where you feel 100% certain. There will always be something trying to hold you back, whether it's fear, doubt, insecurity, or simply the comfort of routine. But destiny doesn't wait on comfort. Destiny moves with courage. Think about how many dreams have died not because they weren't good enough, but because someone kept saying, I'll do it later. Think about how many inventions were never created, how many songs were never sung, how many businesses never got started not because the person lacked talent, but because they never moved. They procrastinated themselves out of their purpose. You may not even realize it, but every time you choose to delay something that matters, something you know deep down you're supposed to do, you're giving procrastination permission to rob you. And it doesn't just take your time, it steals your confidence, your energy, your clarity. It clouds your mind with guilt and regret. It leaves you feeling overwhelmed and stuck. But today can be different. You don't have to live in this cycle of delay. You don't have to keep putting off what God has placed inside you. The fact that the dream hasn't left you, the fact that the vision still burns in your heart, it means it's not too late. It means the clock hasn't run out. But the longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to take that first step. Maybe you've been telling yourself you'll write that book one day, you'll go back to school next year. You'll reach out to that person when the timing is better. You'll start the business once you save up more money. But deep down, you know you've already waited too long. You know that voice inside you has been nudging you for a reason. That's not just a passing thought. That's purpose trying to speak up. That's destiny saying, let's go. You were never meant to live a life of regret. You weren't created to look back and wonder what could have been. You were built for impact. And that impact begins when you stop waiting and start moving. There's a momentum that comes when you act. Even the smallest step can break the chain of procrastination. That email you've been putting off, send it. That idea you've been sitting on, write it down. That change you've been afraid to make, take the first move. Don't underestimate the power of a simple decision. Your destiny doesn't require a giant leap. It just needs your yes. The enemy of your soul would love nothing more than to see you stay stuck in procrastination. He knows he doesn't have to destroy you if he can distract you long enough. If he can get you to delay, to overthink, to hesitate, then he's already slowing you down. But when you decide to rise up and take ownership of your time, your vision, your calling, everything begins to change. What if the thing you've been putting off is the very thing that would shift your entire life? What if the opportunity of a lifetime is wrapped in that one small step you keep postponing? You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to start, willing to try, willing to trust that if you take the step, the path will unfold. Time is a gift. Every minute is a chance to become more of who you were created to be. Don't waste it waiting. Don't give away your power to a false promise of later. Later might not come. But today is here, and it's enough. You were born to make a difference, not someday, but today. There's power in this moment. There's grace for this day. There's destiny in your decision. Don't delay it another hour. Don't let procrastination rob you of one more opportunity. The best version of your life isn't waiting down the road. It's waiting on you to move. So rise up, shake off the hesitation, break free from the cycle of delay, and step boldly into the now. Because your destiny is not delayed, it's just been waiting on you. There is something profoundly beautiful about today, about this very moment. We often overlook it, taking it for granted, as if tomorrow will always come, and the next day after that will be just like the one before. But here's a truth we must face: today is all we truly have. Tomorrow is never promised. The future is a mystery we can't control. But today, this very moment, is a gift we've been given a chance to shape our destiny, to create memories, to take bold steps toward our dreams. So often we get caught in the trap of living for someday. We spend our time waiting for the right time, for the perfect conditions, for everything to align just the way we envision it. We tell ourselves, I'll make a change tomorrow. I'll get started next week. I'll reach for my dreams once things settle down. But what happens when tomorrow comes? And what happens when next week arrives? The truth is, if we keep waiting, tomorrow will never come, and next week will always feel just out of reach. The only time we have to act is today. Think about it. Today is an unrepeatable opportunity. Once this moment passes, it's gone forever. You can't go back in time to redo yesterday. And you can't skip ahead to next year. All we have is this moment, this day, this now. And when we realize the preciousness of today, it changes how we approach everything. It changes how we see our lives, our relationships, our dreams, and our purpose. So often we focus on what we don't have or what we wish we could change. We look back at mistakes, missed opportunities, and regrets, or we project ourselves into the future, imagining the challenges or uncertainties that lie ahead. But when we spend our time in the past or the future, we miss the gift of now. We forget that today is a blank page of fresh start, an open door filled with possibilities. Today is a gift not because it's flawless, not because everything is going according to plan, not because every moment feels easy, but because it's the only time we have to make a difference. It's the time when we have the power to take action, to love, to forgive, to create, to grow. Today is the day you can start the journey. You may not know how it will end, but today you have the courage to take that first step. Imagine for a moment that today is your last day. If you knew this was the final opportunity you had to do the things that matter most, what would you do? Who would you call? What would you say? What would you change? If today were the only day you had, how would you spend it? The truth is, none of us knows how much time we have left. Today is all we have. It's the one day we know is here, and it's a chance to live it with purpose, with meaning, and with gratitude. There is a certain urgency in realizing that today is a gift. We can't afford to waste it. We can't afford to live it passively, just letting it slip out without truly engaging in it. But this doesn't mean that every day needs to be a frantic race to accomplish everything. Living in the moment is about appreciating what we have right where we are. It's about taking a breath and saying, this moment matters. This day matters. And when we approach today with intention, we begin to see the beauty in the small things, the quiet moments, the simple joys, the connections with others. Sometimes we focus so much on the end goal that we forget the journey is just as important. We chase after the big dreams, thinking that once we achieve them, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, life is made up of moments, not just milestones. Today is the moment where the magic happens. Today is where the learning occurs. Today is where the growth happens, even in the smallest steps. If we only focus on the future, we miss the richness that today brings. We miss the opportunity to enjoy the journey, to appreciate the small victories, and to find contentment right where we are. There's a spiritual truth that says, don't worry about tomorrow, for today has enough troubles of its own. This doesn't mean we shouldn't plan or dream, but it reminds us that today is the time to live fully. Worrying about what may or may not happen tomorrow only steals our peace. It robs us of the ability to enjoy the present moment. When we focus on today, we are able to make the most of it, trusting that everything will fall into place in its time. We've all experienced times when we look back on the past and wish we had done things differently. Maybe there are things we regret, things we would change if we had the chance. But here's the thing, today is the chance to make a new beginning. We can't change the past, but we can decide how we move forward. Today is the gift that allows us to choose differently. We can choose to forgive, to heal, to take action, to be kind, to learn, and to grow. The power of today is that it gives us a fresh start. It's the opportunity to let go of past mistakes and embrace a new beginning. So how do we make the most of today? The first step is simply to be present. We often get caught up in distractions or become consumed with thoughts of the past or future. But when we take the time to truly be present, we begin to notice the beauty around us. We begin to appreciate the people in our lives, the moments we often overlook, and the opportunities that come our way. Being present means being mindful of the gift of this moment and embracing it with gratitude. Second, we need to take action. Today is not a day for waiting, for hoping, or for wishing things were different. It's a day for moving forward, even if the steps are small. It's a day for planting seeds, for making progress, for starting the journey. You don't have to have everything figured out, but you have to start. The actions you take today are the foundation for tomorrow. Lastly, we must learn to celebrate today. Even if everything isn't perfect, even if we haven't yet achieved all of our goals, today is still worth celebrating. We are here, we are alive. We have the opportunity to do something meaningful, to connect with others, to experience the wonder of life. Take a moment to pause, to reflect, and to appreciate how far you've come. Celebrate the progress you've made, the lessons you've learned, and the beauty that exists in this day. Today is a gift. It's not just another day to pass by. It's the only day that's guaranteed. And when you embrace it fully, when you live with intention, purpose, and gratitude, you unlock the power of the present moment, the power of today. Life doesn't always come with a warning. Opportunities don't always knock on your door with a clear invitation and a set of instructions. In fact, sometimes they come quietly, disguised in everyday moments, waiting for someone who's prepared enough to recognize them. Opportunities favor the ready. This is one of the most important truths we can understand if we want to achieve anything meaningful in life. Being ready isn't just about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to take action when that moment comes. If you've ever felt like life is passing you by or that opportunity seemed to slip through your fingers, you're not alone. We've all experienced that feeling of watching someone else seize an opportunity we wish we had, wondering how they got so lucky or what we missed. The truth is, success is rarely about luck. It's about being ready when the moment arrives. It's about positioning yourself in such a way that when the door opens, you're not only able to walk through it, but you're also equipped to make the most of what's on the other side. Being ready isn't about having everything figured out or waiting for the stars to align perfectly. It's about preparation. It's about creating a foundation that allows you to step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that you have the tools, skills, and mindset to handle whatever comes your way. If we spend all our time waiting for the perfect moment, we'll miss the countless opportunities that come in imperfect packets. It's not the right time that matters, it's what we've done to prepare ourselves for when the right time comes. Opportunities don't announce themselves with flashing lights or grand gestures. Often they arrive in quiet, unassuming ways. They might be a chance encounter, a random phone call, an unexpected invitation. But to most people, these small moments are easy to overlook. If you aren't ready, you won't recognize these opportunities when they show up. And even if you do recognize them, you may feel unprepared to take action. That's why readiness is so important. One of the keys to success is being open and willing to embrace change, even when it's uncomfortable or unexpected. When an opportunity arises, it's easy to get caught up in self-doubt, fear, or insecurity. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These questions can hold you back and make you hesitate. But when you've been preparing for moments like these, when you've been doing the work, developing your skills and pushing yourself to grow, you'll be much more confident in your ability to step forward. Even in the face of uncertainty, the most successful people didn't wait for everything to be perfect before taking action. They didn't wait for the perfect job to appear, the perfect idea to come, or the perfect timing to align. They prepared themselves for opportunities by continuously learning, growing, improving. They were always working on their craft, honing their skills, and building the mindset that would allow them to step into new challenges with confidence. Consider any successful person you admire, whether in business, art, sports, or any other field. Their achievements didn't happen by accident. They didn't stumble into success because the stars aligned in their favor. They worked for it. They took small steps every day to get better, to be more prepared, to position themselves for whatever opportunities came their way. And when those opportunities came, often when they least expected them, they were able to seize them. This isn't just true for famous people, it's true for all of us. We all have opportunities in our lives waiting to be seized. But whether or not we're able to take advantage of them depends on how ready we are. If we aren't prepared, we might miss our chance. And it's not just about being technically prepared, it's also about being emotionally and mentally ready to take that leap. It's about having the courage to step outside your comfort zone and the willingness to push through fear and self-doubt. Being ready means understanding that growth happens outside of your comfort zone. The opportunities that will change your life are the ones that challenge you, that stretch you, that push you to become someone new. And in order to embrace these challenges, you have to be ready to take risks, to face discomfort, and to push yourself further than you ever have before. A great example of this is someone who has been working on their craft for years, whether it's painting, writing, or business. They might spend hours, days, or even years perfecting their skills with little recognition or reward. But the moment an opportunity arises, whether it's a gallery showing, a book deal, or a business breakthrough, they're ready. They've put in the work. They've done the preparation. They've invested in themselves. When the door opens, they walk through with confidence because they're prepared to make the most of what's on the other side. Preparation is power. It doesn't just put you in the right place at the right time. It makes you someone who can handle success when it comes. The more you prepare, the more capable you become, and the more opportunities you'll attract. It's the principle of success breeds success. When you're ready, not only will you recognize opportunities, but they'll also be drawn to draw. The more you show up, the more you grow. The more the world will open up for you. One of the reasons that opportunities favor the ready is because being ready shows a commitment to your own growth. It shows that you're serious about your goals and your future. When you make the decision to invest in yourself, whether that means acquiring new skills, learning from others, or simply putting in the effort every single day, you're sending a message to the world that you're prepared for what's next. And when the right opportunity presents itself, it will find you exactly where you are ready to step into it. Readiness is also about having the right mindset. It's about knowing that challenges are part of the process and that failure is just a stepping stone on the way to success. People who are ready understand that the journey is not always smooth, but they trust in their ability to handle whatever comes their way. They believe in themselves. They know that no matter how difficult things may seem, they have the strength, the resilience, and the determination to overcome it. In a world where opportunities often seem fleeting, the secret to success is simple: be ready. Prepare yourself both in skill and in spirit to step into whatever opportunities come your way. When you do, you'll not only be able to recognize them, you'll be able to embrace them and make the most of them. Faith is not just a passive belief. It's not just a warm feeling or a quiet hope. Faith, true faith, demands action. It requires movement. When we talk about faith, we often think of it as something that lives in our hearts, something that gives us peace in times of uncertainty. But real, transformative faith goes beyond belief. It moves us to do something. It pushes us to take steps into the unknown, to act on what we can't yet see, to step forward even when the way ahead isn't clear. Faith is like a seed that needs movement to grow. It requires you to take that first step, to trust in the unseen, and to believe that something greater is at work behind the scenes, even when you can't fully understand it. Too often we think that faith is a waiting game. We wait for a sign, a breakthrough, or a perfect moment before we act. We tell ourselves, once I see the path clearly, then I'll move. But that's not how faith works. Faith is about moving before you see the entire picture. It's about trusting the process even when the outcome is uncertain. Faith requires you to step out when everyone else might be standing still. It requires you to move forward in spite of your fears, doubts, and uncertainties. If we wait for everything to be perfect before we act, we'll never move. But if we take the first step with faith, we open ourselves up to the possibility of transformation. Every journey begins with a single step, and that step is always an act of faith. Think about the story of Peter walking on the water toward Jesus. Jesus called him to come, but Peter had to make a choice. He could have stayed in the boat, safe and secure, but if he did, he would have missed the miracle. The moment Peter chose to get out of the boat was the moment his faith was put into motion. He had to move before he could walk on water. His belief in Jesus wasn't enough by itself. It required him to take action, to step out into the unknown, and to trust that the laws of nature would bend to his faith. This is what faith looks like. It's not sitting back and waiting for everything to fall into place. It's saying I'm going to move forward even if I don't have all the answers. I'm going to take a step in the direction of my dreams, even when I can't see the whole path ahead. Faith doesn't wait for the storm to calm down. It moves in the storm, trusting that God is with us even in the midst of uncertainty. Faith also requires movement in the face of fear. It's easy to have faith when everything is going well, when the path is clear, and when success seems inevitable. But faith truly shines when you step out in the face of your greatest fears. It's in those moments of doubt when everything around you is uncertain that faith shows its true power. When you step out, even with fear in your heart, you're showing God to trust His plan, even when you can't see what's coming. This is the difference between passive belief and active faith. It's not enough to just believe in something in your heart. You have to move with that belief. You have to align your actions with your faith. For instance, when you're waiting for a job opportunity or seeking a promotion, faith isn't just sitting around and hoping it will come to you. Faith is preparing yourself, applying for that job, reaching out to connections, building new skills, and trusting that your efforts will bear fruit. Faith also requires movement in your personal growth. It's not just about having a vision or a dream, it's about becoming the person who is ready to fulfill that dream. You may have faith that one day you'll write that book, start that business, or run that marathon. But faith requires you to take small steps every day toward that goal. You might not see the immediate results, but every action you take is a movement that brings you closer to your goal. You might not feel ready, and that's okay. But faith tells you that by moving forward, even in uncertainty, you are preparing yourself for the breakthrough that's coming. Sometimes the hardest part of faith is the first step. It's easy to stay in our comfort zone, to keep doing what's familiar and safe. But faith often requires us to step outside of those boundaries. When you take that first step, you might not know exactly what's ahead, and that's where the beauty of faith lies. It's trusting that God has already gone before you, preparing the way, even when you can't see it. That first step is an act of courage, but it's also a declaration of belief. You're saying, I trust in God's plan, even though I don't have all the details. I'm choosing to move forward. Let's take a moment to think about all the people who have moved with faith throughout history. Whether they were leaders, pioneers, artists, or dreamers, they all had one thing in common. They moved with their faith. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They didn't wait for everything to be easy. They moved often against the odds because they believed that movement would bring them closer to their purpose. For example, Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but he didn't stop. His faith in his invention kept him moving, even when the world didn't believe in his vision. He didn't let failure hold him back. Each setback was just another step in the process. His faith didn't just rest in his ideas. It moved him to keep trying until he achieved success. Similarly, when you move in faith, you're not just moving toward your goals, you're also moving toward personal growth and transformation. Faith allows you to shed the limitations that keep you stuck. It helps you push past the voices of doubt that tell you to stay where you are. As you take each step, your faith grows stronger your confidence increases, and you begin to see just how powerful God's work is in your life. But faith also requires persistence. It's not a one-time step that will get you where you want to go. It's a daily commitment to move forward, even when things don't seem to change overnight. You may not see immediate results, but every step, no matter how small, is a victory. And every step brings you closer to what God has promised. Sometimes the road is long and the path is unclear, but faith keeps you moving, knowing that the journey is just as important as the destination. When you take that first step in faith, you activate something powerful. You align yourself with the flow of God's purpose. When you move in faith, you're not just acting on your own, you're partnering with the divine. Faith without movement is like a car that's stuck in neutral. It has potential, but it's not going anywhere. When you put your faith into action, you put your life into motion. In the end, faith requires movement because it's the only way to transform belief into reality. Without action, faith remains a dream. With action, faith becomes a living, breathing part of your journey, leading you to new heights, new opportunities, and new blessings. So don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't wait for the conditions to be just right. Take the first step in faith. There's a misconception that success happens all at once, that a miracle is a grand, dramatic event that suddenly changes everything. We often hear about overnight successes, monumental breakthroughs, or dramatic turnarounds. And we think those are the only ways to achieve something meaningful. But the truth is, big miracles often start with small, seemingly insignificant steps. It's easy to underestimate the power of taking one small action, thinking that it won't make much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. But when you look closely at the most significant changes in life, you realize that they are the result of many small steps taken with purpose, faith, and consistency. Small steps are the building blocks of greatness. When you're working toward a goal or pursuing a dream, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead. You might look at where you are and compare it to where you want to be and think, I'll never get there. But that's where the power of small steps comes in. The key to achieving big things is not necessarily making huge leaps forward all at once, but instead making consistent progress, one small step at a time. Consider the way a tree grows. It doesn't spring up overnight as a fully formed towering giant. It begins as a small seed planted in the ground with roots slowly taking hold in the soil. From there, it begins to push upward little by little. The process is gradual, and much of it happens beneath the surface where no one can see. But every tiny bit of growth, every small increment of height, every new leaf or branch is a step towards something much larger. Eventually, that tiny seed becomes a towering tree, providing shade, shelter, and beauty. But it was the small steps of growth that made it happen. In our own lives, we can often feel like we're stuck at the seed stage, where our progress is slow, our results are invisible, and our dreams seem distant. But the truth is, small steps lead to big miracles because they accumulate over time, creating momentum and producing results that might not be immediately apparent. If you've ever tried to achieve something significant, you know that it's not always about big bursts of energy. Sometimes it's about showing up consistently, even when things aren't going as fast as you'd like. It's about doing what you can when you can and trusting that each small step is leading you closer to where you want to be. The beauty of small steps is that they are manageable. When faced with a large goal, it's easy to become paralyzed by its size. The thought of accomplishing something huge can be daunting, making it feel like an impossible task. But when you break it down into smaller, more achievable actions, the goal becomes less intimidating. Instead of focusing on the mountain in front of you, you focus on the small path that leads to the top. Each step you take brings you closer to the summit, even if it feels like a long journey. Take, for example, the story of someone who wants to lose weight or get healthy. The idea of losing 50 pounds can be overwhelming, and it's easy to feel defeated before even starting. But when you break it down into smaller steps, like exercising for 20 minutes a day or cutting out one unhealthy snack, it suddenly becomes more manageable. The small daily actions of eating better and exercising consistently add up over time and lead to big, lasting changes. The miracle isn't necessarily in one dramatic weight loss transformation. It's in the consistent choices made every single day. Over time, Those small actions lead to a healthier, stronger body, and before you know it, the dream of a healthier lifestyle has been realized. Similarly, consider someone working on a long-term project like writing a book. The idea of completing a novel might feel daunting, especially when facing the empty page at the start. But writing a book doesn't happen all at once. It happens through consistent writing, one page at a time, one chapter at a time. Each word written is a small step toward completing the larger vision. The miracle of finishing a book is the result of sitting down every day, writing a little bit more, not giving up, even when it feels like progress is slow. Over time, the small steps add up, and before long, the pages are filled and a book is born. The power of small steps also lies in their ability to create habit and discipline. When you commit to taking small actions every day, you build momentum. At first, it might feel like your progress is almost invisible. You might even question if you're making any difference at all. But what you may not realize is that those small actions are building discipline, strengthening your commitment, and helping you develop the perseverance you need to keep going. Each small step brings you closer to making that action a habit. And once a habit is formed, it becomes much easier to continue making progress. Small steps also provide space for growth and learning. When you take the time to break down a large goal into smaller actions, you give yourself room to make mistakes and learn from them. If you were to try to accomplish everything all at once, you might miss important lessons along the way. But by taking small steps, you give yourself the opportunity to improve, to adjust, and to refine your approach. These small moments of learning are often what lead to breakthroughs, and they prepare you for the bigger steps that lie ahead. It's important to remember that even when progress feels slow, the journey is just as important as the destination. Small steps aren't just about getting to the end result, they're about the transformation that takes place along the way. Every step you take changes you. Every small action teaches you something new, strengthens your character, and moves you closer to becoming the person you need to be in order to achieve your goals. In many ways, the miracle isn't just the goal itself, it's the person you become through the process of reaching for it. Think about a child learning to walk. At first, the child is shaky, unsure, and falls often. But with each attempt, the child takes another small step forward. Slowly, the child becomes more confident, more balanced, and eventually begins to walk with ease. The miracle wasn't in one perfect step. It was in the persistence of each small step taken in faith, knowing that eventually walking would become second nature. And so it is with us. Each step, no matter how small or imperfect, brings us closer to the person we want to become and the goals we want to achieve. When we understand that small steps lead to big miracles, we can approach our goals with patience and perseverance. We stop looking for shortcuts or instant results and start focusing on consistent, steady progress. Instead of feeling discouraged by how far we still have to go, we celebrate the small victories along the way. We understand that the journey is just as important as the destination, and every small action is an essential part of the process. In the end, the big miracles we experience in life are the result of many small intentional actions taken over time. It's the combination of small steps repeated day after day that creates the momentum for incredible change. So if you're working toward a goal, don't be discouraged by how small the steps may seem. Remember, each small step is a miracle in itself, moving you closer to the big change you're hoping for. Keep moving forward even when progress seems slow, because every small step is one step closer to your miracle. There are moments in life when everything seems to align perfectly, when you feel as though the universe or higher power is guiding you toward your purpose. It's easy to look at the challenges in your life, the obstacles that seem insurmountable, and think that you're not ready for what lies ahead. It's easy to feel underprepared or to doubt whether you are truly equipped for the journey. But the truth is, you are anointed for now. You're not only capable of facing the challenges before you, but you have been chosen and equipped to handle them with purpose and grace. When we talk about being anointed, it often carries the weight of divine favor. The idea that God has specially equipped you for a particular moment, a specific task, or a unique purpose. Anointing doesn't mean that everything will be easy or that you will never face hardships. It means that despite the challenges, you have been set apart and uniquely designed to fulfill your purpose, and that the strength you need has already been placed within you. Too often we look at our lives and compare them to others. We see someone else who seems more prepared, more gifted, or more capable of succeeding in their current situation. But we must understand that the path laid before us is uniquely ours. God has given each of us specific tools, experiences, and gifts that make us the perfect fit for the moment we are in. You are anointed for now because the world needs what only you can offer. This anointing is not something that is given to us all at once in a single moment. It is a process that unfolds over time. It's built on your experiences, your challenges, your faith, and your resilience. Each moment in your life, whether filled with success or hardship, has prepared you for this time. The struggles you've faced, the lessons you've learned, and the growth you've experienced have been part of the training ground that has equipped you for the very work you are called to do. You may not feel ready for everything that's coming your way. You may doubt whether you have what it takes to fulfill the dreams you hold in your heart. But the reality is that you were created and anointed for this moment in time. The dreams you have, the passions you carry, and the challenges you face are all part of the divine plan designed specifically for you. And you are more than enough to handle it. Sometimes we look at the task at hand and feel overwhelmed, as if we are underqualified, unequipped for the work ahead. This feeling is natural, especially when we face new challenges or are stepping into unfamiliar territory. It's easy to believe that we need to be perfect or have everything figured out before we begin. But God doesn't call the perfect, He calls the willing. You are anointed for now, which means you don't need to have it all figured out today. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions to take action. You only need to trust that you have everything you need right now, and you are ready for the work ahead. There is a concept in many spiritual traditions that the time we are living in is not an accident, nor are the circumstances of our lives random. You are living in the exact moment you are meant to be in, and everything that has come before has prepared you for now. The challenges you face, the people you meet, the opportunities that arise, all are part of your divine anointing. You are exactly where you need to be. This is your time. It's easy to think that we miss our chance or that our moment passed us by, but the truth is that God's time is always perfect. If you're here reading these words, facing these challenges, then this is your time. You are anointed for this moment. And every obstacle you face is part of the journey that will lead you to greater purpose. The key is to trust that you are not alone in this journey, and that the power to succeed, to rise above, and to fulfill your purpose is already within you. It's also important to recognize that being anointed for now doesn't mean that things will always go smoothly. In fact, being anointed often means that you will face opposition, challenges, and moments of doubt. The anointing is not a promise of ease, but a recognition that you have the resilience and strength within you to face whatever comes your way. The difficulties you encounter are not signs of failure or a lack of divine favor. They are opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. Every trial is a stepping stone toward greater success. Think about the story of David in the Bible. David was anointed as king of Israel while he was still a young shepherd tending the sheep. At the time, he had no idea what the future held or how he would fulfill his calling. He had no palace, no army, no title, just a slingshot, a heart full of faith. But when the time came, he was ready. His anointing didn't come with a crown, it came with preparation. He was called to fight a giant, to lead a nation, and to become one of the greatest kings in history. He had been prepared for this moment by all the small steps he took along the way, by the times he fought off lions and bears, by the moments of solitude and reflection, by the way he relied on his faith. David was anointed for now, and when the opportunity came, he was ready to rise. Similarly, your anointing for now doesn't require you to have everything figured out. What it requires is trust and faith that, even when you feel unprepared, you are capable of taking the next step. You don't need to have all the answers. You simply need to move forward in faith, knowing that the right doors will open at the right time. Another key part of being anointed for now is that it requires action. It's not enough to simply know you are anointed. You must also be willing to step into the unknown and trust in your abilities. You are anointed for now, but that anointing comes with the responsibility to act. Faith without works is dead. The universe, or God, has placed everything you need in your path, your skills, your opportunities, your resources, but it's up to you to take action. The anointing doesn't guarantee success without effort. It empowers you to take action, to move forward, and to trust that your efforts will lead you to greatness. Sometimes it can be hard to step out of our comfort zones, especially when we're not sure what the outcome will be. But the act of stepping forward, even when you don't have all the answers, is part of the divine anointing. It's trusting that you are enough for this moment and that you don't need to wait for perfection. The only thing you need is faith in yourself, in the timing of your life, and in the power that has already been placed within you. You are anointed for now because this is your time. You have everything you need to step into the fullness of your purpose. The world needs your unique gifts, your specific talents, and your voice. This moment has been designed for you to rise, to make an impact, and to step into the greatness that is already within you. Don't wait for another time. Don't wait for tomorrow. You are anointed for now. As you stand at the threshold of your future, remember this powerful truth: you are anointed for now. The challenges you face, the dreams you carry, and the goals you aspire to achieve are not by chance. You have been equipped with everything you need to overcome the obstacles before you and to step into the life you were destined for. There is no need to wait for a better time, a more perfect moment, or a future version of yourself. The anointing, the strength, the wisdom, and the courage you need are within you right now. What you need to accomplish your dreams and to fulfill your purpose has already been placed in your heart. All that's left is to step forward in faith, trusting that each small step you take brings you closer to the miracles and opportunities that await. Do not let fear, doubt, or the weight of the journey ahead hold you back. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth, and every obstacle is simply a stepping stone leading you to your destiny. You are not just ready for tomorrow, you are ready for today. Embrace your anointing for now and trust that the path ahead will unfold in perfect timing. You are not alone on this journey. You are equipped, you are chosen, you are destined for greatness. The time is now, and it's your moment to rise. Keep moving forward, take those small steps, and know that with each action, you are making an impact. You are anointed for now, and this is your time to shine.